mutual funds do you suggest? Sir, it is very difficult for me to suggest any mutual fund. For suggesting a mutual fund, one has to go through what the goals of the investor are, what the risk profile are, what is the overall wealth client has, what is the how can one design an asset allocation with low cost index fund, gold fund, and arbitrage fund? Should one follow a fixed ratio? Sir, in finance, nothing is fixed, everything is dynamic, so are the markets. You cannot take any call for 5, 10, 15, 20 years stating that it will remain fixed. One can take tactical calls, but even if you want to take fixed ratio calls, that are also good enough to give you returns equivalent to at least what an average investor should get. For low cost index fund, you can consider UTI and Nippon India. For gold fund, I do not recommend any gold fund. I recommend Sovner Gold Bond, because in Sovner Gold Bond, one gets 2.5% yearly interest plus gains at redemption are tax exempt. If you want to make a dynamic allocation every month, sir, trust me, it is not possible. Only an expert can do. Because of exit loads, it is not possible at your end, and because of taxation. Taxation and exit load will make sure that you underperform if you are going to manage it dynamically every month. Let's say you invested today and after a month you want to switch from debt to equity or equity to debt. There will be some taxation which will get triggered. There will be some exit loads which you have to pay. So this is not a good strategy to dynamically manage your portfolio every month. What should retired person of 85 years do? Sir, a retired person of 85 years should not take extraordinary amount of risk. The main objective should be to conserve capital and generate decent returns so as to fulfill the need. One should not try. Give example of field 15 serial number gilt fund. 15 serial number gilt fund, what it will do? It will invest in a portfolio so that maturity duration is 10 years. And the fund manager will rebalance the portfolio and constantly maintain maturity duration of 10 years. It will not allow the portfolio to go down. Roll down maturity, you can consider Bharat Bond in target maturity fund. You can consider Nippon India Dynamic Bond Fund. You can consider IDFC Corporate Bond Fund, HDFC Money Market Fund. These funds you can consider. Edelweiss is coming up with 2 new issues on Bharat Bond. You can consider those as well. They will be out by June or July. Let's move to hybrid schemes. Number 1 is conservative hybrid fund. First of all, so whatever the moment interest rate, we will get the expected yield on fund maturity in Bharat. Sir, you can expect this and you will get close to what the YTM is today if you invest today. But there is no guarantee you will get exactly equal to what YTM is today. Conservative hybrid fund. Conservative hybrid fund, equity 10 to 25%, debt 75 to 90%. So conservative hybrid fund can have equity from 10 to 25% and debt from 75 to 90%. Previous to introduction of LTCG on equities, this was monthly income plan mutual fund. This is not a recommended mutual fund. Reason being, you are investing in a hybrid structure with higher expense ratio, and that higher expense ratio is also applicable on your debt portion. If you are getting 6.5% YTM and you are paying 1.5-2% as expense, then you are only making 4.5% return on 75 to 90% of your asset. Your suggestion on systematic withdrawal funds and which is giving best, sir, please do not ask me which is giving best return or which will give best return, but I will try to answer. If you want to invest, if you want to withdraw systematically, it depends from which category of fund you are registering your SWP request. If you are registering your SWP request from a liquid fund, there is no problem. But if you are registering your SWP request in a, if you are, so somebody has asked me Nippon large cap fund. Somebody wants my opinion. I will give you my opinion on all large cap funds. Then I will come to hybrid schemes. I will first answer this question and then we will first cover hybrid schemes. My view on all large cap funds is, as 80% of the investment is in large cap funds, it is defined only after September to October 2017. Previous to that, there were no definition of what large cap is. Fund houses were invested 50% in large cap and remaining 50% in mid and small cap. They used to label their fund as large cap. So they generated most of their return by investing in higher riskier funds. The kind of information available now these days due to technology, it is very difficult for a fund manager to generate return on account of information asymmetry. I do not prefer any active investment strategy in large cap scale. My investments are only in passive funds. I have not invested in any large cap active fund. You have to talk to your financial planner to consider what is best suitable for you. If we see the SPIVA data for December 2019, 70-80% of the active schemes were not able to reach their benchmark. In the last 1.5-2 years as well, there is one more significant regulation which came in. Previously, large cap schemes, or for that matter, any scheme, used to compare their performance with price index and not total return index. Total return index includes dividend reinvested. So now SEBI has said that you have to compare your performance with total return index. And there is one more bigger problem. If I am paying 1.52% of expense and I will not get 1.52% of alpha, even if I have invested on the right fund, that it means I am partnering with somebody that in case alpha is generated, gross alpha of 4%, 2% will go to the fund cost and 2% will remain with me. And in case the fund underperforms, I will keep paying the 2% fees as well. So I do not prefer any active strategies in large cap space. Is it good to invest in a drop of Nifty 50 and redeem on raise with a gap of 10 or 15 or 30 days? Will I make more profit? Sir, you are asking for a trading investment tip. If you want to invest for 10, 15, 30 days, you have to go and consult an astrologer. Yes, if you can time the market really well, you should invest. And if Nifty goes up, you will gain decent money. You can invest in ETFs. You can capture intraday movements as well in Nifty 50. You should invest. But I do not prefer taking short duration calls in equity. Now let's come to conservative hybrid fund. Equity is 10 to 25%, debt is 75 to 90%. Taxation in this scheme is debt taxation, not equity taxation. Balanced hybrid fund, 40 to 60% in equity and 40 to 60% in debt. This 40 to 60% is unhedged equity, reason being arbitrage is not allowed. Aggressive hybrid fund, this is the most commonly sold missold instrument. Balance fund, previously known as balance fund. Most of the retirees, all of them invested their fixed deposit money in this category of mutual fund. This category has seen significant outflow in the last 15-18 months. equity is 65 to 80%, and debt is 20 to 35%. Taxation applicable is equity oriented. So I would like to make one more point. An AMC can offer either balanced hybrid fund or aggressive hybrid fund. Most of the AMCs have chosen aggressive hybrid funds. Dynamic asset allocation fund or balanced advantage fund. So there is no fixed mandate. Each and every scheme has a different mandate. You have to refer to the scheme information document of each and every scheme. I will give you an example. For example, ICICI Balanced Advantage Fund has mandate of 30 to 80% of unhedged equity. Rest of the total portfolio is rebalanced on daily basis as per the market conditions, and they have a fixed model based on PE, PB and all these things. This type of category as equity oriented taxation. Multi-asset allocation. Multi-asset allocation fund must have at least 3 asset classes, and all these 3 asset classes must have at least 10% of the investment. So taxation applicable is equity oriented, but it is not sure whether it will remain equity oriented. It all depends on the mandate of the scheme, which mandate the scheme is following. Arbitrage funds. Arbitrage fund has zero unhedged equity. In case market opens 20% up or down, these scheme will not have any impact on account of change in the value of equity. These scheme buy equity in cash market and sell the future of respective underlying. They try to generate by this thing. I would like to see multi-asset allocation fund in detail. These are all the multi-asset allocation funds, and these are their mandates. I have done this so that you can do it for other hybrid categories if you want to do. For example, Axis Triple Advantage Fund has the mandate to invest 65 to 80% in equity, 10 to 30% in debt, 10 to 30% in gold, and 0 to 10% in REIT or infrastructure investment trust. SL 3-in-1 fund. Although AUM is only 15 crore, 15 to 25% in equity, this fund will be taxed as debt fund and not equity fund. So you have to see which category is taxed where. How are US blue chip fund? Our US blue chip fund invest in US stocks. US blue chip fund invest in US stocks, and returns will be dependent on the performance of US market. One can allocate 2, 4, 5, 10% of the portfolio in global equities if one is ready to rebalance it after every 6 months to 1 year, but one should not go overboard in global equities. Especially now when the US market has done exceptionally well, 10, 12 years of bull market we have seen in US market. These are not the times to go overboard in US market, in global equity funds. 6th type of hybrid scheme is equity saving fund. Equity saving fund, they invest 65% of the exposure in equity as an asset class, but unhedged equity you have to see the scheme information document. Taxation is equity. In my opinion, this is not a scheme where one can invest. Reason being, I will show you on the next slide. I have taken top 7 equity schemes. I have taken top 7 equity saving schemes. These are the unhedged equity range of these schemes, which I have showcased in the last column. You can see the AUM as well. Taxation for US fund will be that of a non-equity oriented fund. That is, If you hold for 3 years, your gains will be taxed post indexation. If you sell before 3 years, your gains will be taxed at the marginal rate of taxation at the tax slab in which the unit holder falls. How do you decide when to redeem these funds? Sir, there is no generic formula. One can invest and rebalance based on asset allocation one is following and take tactical calls as per the risk appetite and future expectation of capital markets. So I was saying equity saving fund one should not invest in. So I have not told you where to invest, but I will tell you where not to invest. This is not the category to invest. Reason being, if you are getting 15 to 40% as equity, remaining 25% is arbitrage, expense is somewhere close to 1.5 to 2%, and remaining 35% is debt. So on almost 55-60% of the portfolio, you are paying an expense of active equity fund and not that of debt fund. And there is no mandate where the debt portion will be invested. This is what we have observed in the last 3-4 days, where AMCs have transferred some of their securities from credit risk fund to hybrid equity funds. What are traps, net receivable and margin in portfolio? What is the negative and positive? Sir, if you see negative balance, that negative balance means that the fund has borrowed to earn redemptions. Usually liquid fund in March end or on quarter end borrows the money to pay off the redemption because corporate treasuries redeem in bull because they want the money for payment of advance tax and all. If you see a negative figure in a fund which is taking any credit call, it's a red flag. In 31st March 2020, just 2 months back, Franklin schemes have negative cash balances. It was the biggest red flag for investors. If they wanted to exit, they could have exited. But because they were not properly guided by some advisor, they remain invested and now they are stuck. Approximately 25,000 to 30,000 crore of AUM is stuck in those 6 schemes now. Solution-oriented schemes. Retirement fund and children fund. These two categories may look emotional to you from the name's point of view, that if you are investing in retirement fund, your retirement is planned, or if you are investing in a children's fund, the future of your child with respect to financial goals are secure. But this is wrong. In my opinion, one should not invest in these two categories. I will tell you the reason on next slide. Look at the expense ratio of all these funds. And look. Kiran has asked a question. It is a very relevant question. Does 100% investing in index fund help us to create wealth? I am assuming 100% investing in equity-oriented index fund, for example, Nifty 50 or Nifty Next 50 or Nifty 100. In my opinion, this is not a prudent strategy to generate return because market tends to underperform, market tends to consolidate for a longer period of time, and investor may lose patience, investor may not have stomach to digest volatility, and this is not the right. At least this is not the right approach for me, and I will not say you should not do it, because if you do it and market rises, it will deliver hands-up returns as well. But I don't think it is a prudent approach. This is my honest feedback on this. So we were discussing children's fund. Look at the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year and 5 year return. Few days back, attended a webinar hosted by Quantum. Mr. Ajit Dayal said that he has worked with Vanguard and according to him, index in India is not constituted well. Your opinion on this? Sir, I am not qualified enough to give opinion on such a big personality. If he is saying so, he must be feeling something wrong. But in my opinion, had there been something wrong to that extent, it should have been highlighted by now. Because index funds are there from 2001. I think in 2001, first ETF from benchmark was launched, which we currently know as Nifty Vs. So there is nothing wrong in India with regards to index construction or something like this. NSE has a well-defined structure, how constituents will be chosen, how constituents will be sworn out, how weightage will be given. In case Mr. Ajit Dayal has an opinion, he should write to SEBI and try to work it with them. I am not qualified enough to give opinion on remarks of such a big personality. Nifty 100, if we look at this table, in the last column I have mentioned returns of Nifty 100 total return index. Now compare these returns with what has happened in the scheme. You will find Nifty 200 total return index has given minus 21% return. Let's compare it with the scheme which has the highest AUM, HDFC Children's Fund. HDFC Children's Fund has 65-35 approach, AUM of 2700. So if I consider 65-35 approach, it means 35 in debt, 65 in equity. If had I followed the same strategy through Nifty 100 fund, that would have given decent return had I invested 65% in Nifty 100 fund and remaining 35% in debt. What is the average time period Indian investors remain invested in mutual funds? In other words, recently AMFI published some data. Most of the AUM is less than 2 years old. Other schemes, index funds and funds of funds. Funds of funds, so first of all, I will tell you the taxation. Funds of funds have taxation of other than equity oriented. Whatever the underlyings are, fund of fund will have taxation of other than equity oriented, except for those funds which have index ETFs as underlyings. Equity index ETFs as underlying. Domestic Indian equities as underlying. Index fund ETFs, minimum investment in security of a particular index, which is being replicated 95% of the total assets. So 95% of the total assets are invested in replication of the index. Most of the index funds are investing up to 100% of the assets in replication of the index. Reason being, they want to bring down the error as far as possible. My opinion on gold ETFs, I will give you my honest opinion on gold ETFs. I prefer sovereign gold bond over gold ETFs. I will give you 3 reasons, at least 3 reasons. Reason number 1, if you buy gold ETFs and sell it after any amount of time, you will have to pay taxes if you have one capital gains. In case you have invested, so you have to pay taxation on ETFs, number 1. As compared to sovereign gold bond, if you redeem on maturity, there is no taxation. There is fund management charge for gold ETFs. In sovereign gold bond, there is no charge. Point number 3, when you buy gold ETF of 103 rupees, only 100 rupees gets invested in gold. 3 rupees is GST, although that will be shown as net receivables in fund, but that 3 rupees will not track gold as an asset class. Number 4, in sovereign gold bond, you receive 2.5% as interest income. So clearly, sovereign gold bonds has all the advantages as compared to gold ETFs. You want to invest in sovereign gold bonds? Recently, about a week back, one of the tranche get closed. You can invest in sovereign gold bond whenever the tranche is open. You can invest in sovereign gold bond through your stockbroker. Sovereign gold bonds are listed on stock exchange. In fact, if you buy sovereign gold bond from stock exchange, you will get 20% of illiquidity discount. Bonds would be of fixed period, right? Yes, Didi, bonds will be of fixed period, but they will soon get listed. Every issue get listed within 15-20 days, and you can sell the bond in case you require it. But I prefer, if you want to trade, you should trade through ETS. If you want to invest, you should invest through sovereign gold bonds. Kiran has asked, how should be the asset allocation? Ma'am, it all depends. What your financial goals are, what your risk-taking appetite is, what you want to achieve out of your portfolio, it all depends. There is no fixed formula which I can tell and you all can. So Karthik has asked something on interest scheme transfer. Karthik, I can answer it here as well, but what I suggest, you should read my article. I have written an article in interest scheme transfer. You should read that article. I will share the link with you, and you can read the article. You can leave your email ID here, and moderator will give the email ID to me, and I will share the link with you on interest scheme transfer. It will clear all your doubts. Definitely, if double A and below rated papers have been transferred to hybrid fund, it carries certain amount of risk, and in case of downgrade or default, it will affect the equity. SJB bought over exchange are also eligible for exemption on taxation on maturity. Yes, sir, you are correct. SJB bought over exchange are also eligible for exemption of taxation on maturity. Index fund, minimum investment in securities of a particular index. So what index fund do and what is the difference between index fund and ETF? Index fund tracks a particular benchmark. For example, Nifty 50 index fund will track Nifty 50 total return index. Nifty next 50 index fund will track Nifty next 50 total return index. So those funds should be preferred which have low tracking error. What is the difference between index fund and ETF? ETF you can buy during the market hours from the stock exchange. Let's say market falls from 10,000 to 9,000 and you want to invest at 9,000, you can do so by investing in ETF. But I would warn you that there is a difference between traded price and real time NAV. You should be cognizant of that. But whereas in index fund, you will only get the closing of the day. For example, if Nifty falls from 10,000 to 9,000 and you invest in an index fund, assuming you will get 9,000, but Nifty recover back in the day and close at 10,000, you will only get NAV at 10,000, not at 9,000. For intraday, yes, ETF taxation will be as per benchmark. For example, Bharat Bond ETF will be taxed at debt because it has all the underlying debt holdings, and Nifty 50 ETF will be taxed at equity because all the holdings are equity. So thanks a lot, mate. This was my first presentation. I hope I have added some knowledge to all of you. SGP buying in secondary market is available. There is no doubt. First up, secondary market, SGP buying is available. You have to balance whether you want to buy it at 1-2% discount or you want to wait for an opportunity, whereas you can get more than that discount. So friends, in case you have any question, you can please leave your questions. You can DM me your questions.